Okay, a couple more stragglers.
Hey, you guys want to move up front? That's cool.
Come on up front, don't be shy.
Plenty of seats up front.
Yeah.
Don't have to be shy.
Or you can sit in the back.
You don't have to.
I sat in the back in high school and sat in the back in the dark. Front row.
You guys cool with us sitting?
Absolutely.
Whatever you want.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like 3D. Sit on my lap. All right.
Look at you. Can you give me the best shirt the whole time?
All right. Well, it looks like everybody's here. So I'll introduce this. This is the Crude and Rude panel. Sponsored by Quimby's Bookstores. Quimby's, you guys fans of Quimby's? Yeah, give it up for Quimby's. It's a hell of a good bookstore. Hell of a good bookstore. So we're the moderators. I'm Josh.
Justin.
And today,
We form Crass Sophisticated.
together we're Crass Sophisticated. It's a comic book. It's dirty. It's crass. That's why it's called that.
But onto the panel.
All right. So then we're going to introduce over here these four lovely people, starting from Ivan Brunetti, right there on the end. Ivan Brunetti, everybody. Stand up for... No, don't stand up. And then next to him is Lisa, the lovely Lisa Hanawalt. Beautiful Lisa. And next to her is the lovely Hellen Joy. Yeah. And last, but certainly not least, this tall drink of water, Mr. Jeremy Onsmith. What can I say? Hey, have a seat. It's going to be dirty. So it's also a disclaimer. We might say shit, fuck, cocksucker, whatever. It's going to be, it's crude and rude. It's about vulgarity in comic books. So let's get started. I think we're just going to start with this question to all of you. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear vulgarity? What do you think? And you could grab the microphone and, well, the first word that pops in your mind.
Poo.
Okay, poo. I would have said shit.
My own bowels.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't. The first thing that comes to mind is vulgarity. I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess boogers, I guess.
Boogers? All right. Just, breaking the ice here. So, all right, let's move on. So we're going to talk about the history of vulgarity in comics, censorship and all that. Back in like the 40s and the 50s, there was a company called EC Comics. And you guys fans of EC Comics? The Tales from the Crypt and the horror comics? You like? Yeah, give it up. And Mad Magazine and all that. So anyway, back then they were making a lot of money, and a couple of lame assholes like this guy Charles Murphy and this other dude, I can't remember his name. Thank you, Brunetti. Smart guy over here. Anyway, I'm going to list, like what happened was they wanted to do a censorship on comics, and it was called the CCA, or the Comics Code Authority. And so I'm just going to list all the censorships they enacted. So here we go. In every instance, good shall triumph over evil. Now that's lame. The presentation of like policemen, judges, government officials, firemen, etc., respected institutions will not be disrespected.
There's the good Dr. Frederick right here. Boo.
He was responsible for censorship. So look at the guy. He looks like a lame asshole.
Panel, what do you have to say about Dr. Frederick?
He wasn't really that bad. He was just like he was kind of like a liberal crusader, actually. He was big in the early civil rights movement. He was actually kind of a cool person. He was just horrified by comic books that children bought where like there were people playing baseball with severed heads and arms. So he kind of had a little bit of a point. And he wasn't the one who censored anything. It was the comic book industry that decided to do that. They took it upon themselves to create the comics code or whatever, the CCA. And so actually it was self-censorship, and a lot of that was that those companies were trying to put EC Comics out of business because they were rivals, and they knew that the company that would most be hurt by enacting that would be EC Comics, because then they couldn't get their comics distributed to newsstands. So anyway, I mean, he wasn't that horrible a person.
He's still
He
kind
was
of
just
a
a
jerk,
misguided kind of do-gooder, you know. Like, he actually did a lot of good things in his life, but he was just horrified by the vulgarity of American culture. He never quite got like how crass Americans are. He was, you know, I think he was from Germany. I can't remember, but yeah, you can't totally blame him. But he wasn't the one who did anything. It was the comics industry that did it to themselves, and it was also like a self-serving kind of thing, and also to put EC Comics out of business. Because anyway, whatever. I'm rambling, but just wanted to
Rambling's fine.
give it up for Frederick Wortham. Nobody.
Oh, he just got bested. Good job, Josh. Good research.
My research is weak.
No, it's a common misconception.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. I learned something today.
I went on Wikipedia for that, just to let you know.
Yeah, Wikipedia is great, isn't it?
What do we got here? Thank you. Give it up for Wikipedia, everybody.
Some more EC comic pictures. Want to go with that?
Yeah, let's go. Let's see some EC stuff. There's some. So that's Basil Wolverton right there. Any fans of Basil Wolverton out there? What do you like the guy?
Yeah, I love it. When I was a kid, my uncles collected these buttons of all these heads and these faces, like vacuum cleaner nose and spaghetti hair man and all this stuff. And it was just so gross and awesome to me. I had to collect them all, and I stole them from my uncles. So I love Basil Wolverton. Yeah, I'm the best.
Brunetti, you like Basil? I mean, not the herb, but
Other people on
the
the panel,
artist.
but
Oh yeah,
sure.
ladies.
But he's one of my heroes.
Yeah, well, ladies, do you like Basil? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, got to include everybody here. It's a lot of pressure. Keep showing. Let's see some more pictures of dirty things.
Listen, let's talk about this.
You talk about it. I don't. Okay.
What is this, Katie Kean? Right? What, am I wrong? Yeah, okay. I read somewhere, I don't know if this is true, but the guy did Archie. His first job was to make her look not so slutty. I don't think she really looks slutty there. I think she looks like she's ready for the beach. Doesn't
Dan
look too...
DeCarlo, I think, is the...
I'm sorry?
Isn't it Dan DeCarlo up there?
Yeah.
Dan DeCarlo, I can't remember.
I like that picture. I don't know. I thought it looked good. I put it on there. Okay, let's talk about Crumb a little bit. There we go, right? All right, so family that lays together stays together. One of his comics where he has the incest thing going on, what kind of line does that cross? Is he trying to mock something, or is he really getting off on that?
I guess what the question is, like, how do you panelists feel about incest? I mean, what's... Hey, it's dirty.
Well, for me, did you want to say something?
No, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, about incest? I think this is pretty obviously attacking the nuclear family. I have a tangent. I was talking to someone earlier about Crumb, and where I got into underground comics wasn't Robert Crumb, but actually in Hustler magazine when I was a youth, and it was Chester the Molester. It was a one-panel gag, and it dealt with a lot of incest. And I think before I even saw the 60s underground Zap stuff, it was porno comics in Hustler. So I think it's interesting to see that I had to go back in time to find the Zap stuff and go, oh, okay, it comes full circle now. Now I understand it. You know, comics were always kind of gross. You know, the whole time. You know. What do you think? Incest. Anybody?
No.
Do you guys like Crumb? I mean, tell us
Yeah,
about Crumb stories.
Crumb was one of the first cartoonists that I got really into because I was like, oh, you can draw the stuff that you think about, that titillates you, that will disgust other people.
When you discover?
I was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Religious experience?
Kind of, yeah, because it's like, it's so wrong, and you know you shouldn't find it sexy, but there's something about it that makes you want to keep looking at it. Even if you're like, I'm not into incest at all, but, I mean,
Train wreck.
yeah, but like
Beautiful train wreck.
yeah.
Even the dog in the corner going to town on the dog.
Yeah, maybe not that part, but
In the kitchen, too. There's a lot going on there.
It'd be interesting to see like the same drawing done by somebody that couldn't draw and what a reaction would be. I mean, because I think part of the power of that is that it's beautifully drawn. Like if you look at it, like every square inch of it has something going on. Like he paid attention to the way light hits a surface, and he got like the roundness of every form and the volume of things. So it's somebody that is actually looking at the world very carefully and sensitively, and then he's drawing like a dog fucking a baby. So like that really kind of messes with your head because
yeah, he
like,
elevates it to art. Like it could be in a museum, but there is also like, it seems like he's drawing his own porn to some degree.
I agree. I think like because you said earlier it was like as if it were a mutual thing, like whether it's a like I think like part of him probably got turned. I mean, he admitted like he got turned on by drawing Joe Blow, that story. Yeah, I mean, he's so emotionally committed to this image. But I'm wondering if, what if it were somebody that just couldn't draw and did that, like just a really crude version of that? I wonder what our reaction would be, or like what our take on it would be, if it would be different. Because I think that's the other history of comics. Like there are like those Tijuana Bibles that were kind of crudely drawn, or even something worse than that. I think that would be like the interesting thing. Like, 'cause then can you take that seriously? Because it's hard to dismiss this because he can draw, and that's something we could talk about. That would be.
Discuss.
Oh, well, if anyone doesn't know, there's a cartoonist, Mike Diana. He did this comic called Boiled Angel. Every depravity known to man, but it was really crudely drawn, almost like he never went past 14. So everything in it is, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it went to the Supreme Court, obscenity trial in Florida. Wish we had some images, but that's someone that I can think of right off the bat.
I like artwork that's super crude too, for different reasons, because it seems like they're drawing just to please themselves. Mm-hmm. And there's something so fascinating about that. Like it looks like something they would draw just for themselves and then hide under their bed or something.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a voyeuristic joy, seeing that kind of work.
Well, all that stuff needs to go somewhere too, I think. Even Mike Diana, it should exist, I think, because it could be coming from anger. It could be coming from sorrow. I don't know if he's kind of a moody guy or not. I don't know. It's just really filthy. But yeah, it's usually there's always something behind it. That's what is the most compelling to me about any vulgarity in comics, is that there's some emotional thing behind it. There's subversion. There's anger. There's just humor, just to get beyond it. I don't know.
Do you guys find that you draw vulgar work as like kind of a release, or are you just trying to be funny?
Oh, I'm never trying to be funny.
But you are.
I think it is kind of a release. It's kind of like, you want to draw some shit, and like if you talk about this kind of stuff with your friends, they'll just like if you talk about like, oh, I love drawing girls eating burgers, and then like they're all vomiting on each other, and it's like, what's wrong with you? But then if you draw it, it's like, oh, it's an art object, it's beautiful, put it in a gallery or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like when you yes. What do you gotta say for that? So this is a drawing I did for a series for Grasshead in Portland of Asian ghosts, and there are actually a lot of ghost myths from the Pacific Islands and East Asia. This is the Filipino Manananggal, or the Penala, I don't remember how to say it, Aswang. It's like a Filipino vampire that separates her body from the top, and she eats fetal babies out of women's areas or whatever. And like, I think part of the reason I like drawing, I almost exclusively draw women, and I like drawing vulgar women and like images like this because I think it's important to kind of, there are a lot of women comics is kind of a new thing. in the last like 50 years or whatever. And like, it's nice to have. I think there should be more gross women images. There are a lot of like, especially because I'm an Asian American female cartoonist, and there's a lot of us now, and we all draw cute shit, and I hate that stuff. And it's like, it's like stupid, and it's cute, and it's like, I don't. That's not how I feel. That's not who I am. I feel more like a gross, disgusting person, and I want to draw that. I want to show
Me
it to
too.
people.
I'm fucking disgusting inside.
Yeah, you are disgusting. You're so gross, and it's like.
Thank you.
I think it's rad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was for Electric Ant, and we. The theme of that zine was body horror, so I was trying to do like a parasitic twin kind of thing. Yeah, those are prayers. It's like a prayer thing. I don't know if I had like a narrative or anything behind it, but body horror is interesting. Women, or not just women, but everyone has like kind of like they view their own body in a very specific way because someone told them that they had to feel that way about their body. So it's like, well, we should have pride in like the grossest parts of ourselves. If you have like a parasitic twin, that's awesome. You should just like be proud of it or something. I don't.
Oh yeah, she's got it decorated. I mean, she's got some.
And you'd like if you're like gross looking, just take pride in it. Put some makeup on it or some shit. I don't know.
Then it's not disgusting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it. Let's see what else we got here.
Oh, that's the.
What is like an animation?
That's the newest scene that I did. I started working at Cartoon Network recently, so I have a light table. So I'm like, I'm gonna make a light table comic. Yeah, you can animate it, and it's actually a comic about stress. But like people read it, or a lot of women have read it, and or women and men, they'll be like, this is about homophobia, right? Or like this is about whatever issues as being. I don't know. They'll just project whatever they want on it, and that's kind of what I want. It's like people see gross things and they identify with it because everyone's gross. And
I've had 3 bowel movements this morning.
yeah, 3. That's pretty gross, like and like.
Only 3?
Yeah, and like people.
I talked to you yesterday about the vomiting. You did that a couple times too. So.
Yeah, everyone has gross shit, and everyone's gross, and their bodies are gross, and so whatever.
Oh, Helen, can you talk about this one? I saw this yesterday. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I did a kind of like a tribute painting of Judith and her maidservant. Judith and her maidservant. Yeah, her maidservant with the head of Holofernes, and it was originally a painting by Artemisia Gentileschi, who was a Caravaggio-esque painter who was raped, and then she.
Raped by her drawing teacher.
Yeah, she was raped by her instructor. She brought him to justice but her father had to prosecute because she was his property or whatever, and he defiled it. But so like she did a lot of paintings of this dude in the Bible who gets beheaded by a woman, and I don't know. I just wanted to redraw it because I think it's beautiful. Like I've done a couple like decapitated head dude paintings, and like I don't hate men. They're awesome. I have a male boyfriend, and like but part of vulgarity is like a way to express kind of rage at injustice or the way people kind of treat you or talk to you because like, oh, you're a girl and you draw comics. Okay, that's cool, whatever. And it's like, well, if I lived in a different world, I'd chop your fucking head off. So that.
I mean, do you really find it still like a boys' club though? I mean,
It's not a boys' club, but.
Men's club.
Men's club. I don't know. It's
Gentleman's club.
a gentleman's club. It's a sexy gentleman's club. I don't think it's that black and white. But I also, I feel like I've kind of experienced certain attitudes that are just sort of like, really, you still think that?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not really that surprised by it. That's just we don't live in a perfect world. It's a world filled with awful people and awful attitudes. So it keeps changing for the better, but also for the worse at the same time.
it goes pretty slow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Depressing. Okay. Let's see what we got here.
Oh, sorry, you don't have to. I mean, I put a lot of stuff on the USB keys.
Hey, you gotta sell your wares, Yeah. It's in order. Sorry. So yeah, I can. Helen, I like this. I'm sorry. Though. I know. Well, we got other things on here, but smoking chick.
That one's I just had to draw like a bunch of stuff really fast for the show because I did it at the last minute. It's like, oh fuck, I gotta draw shit, and like most of them are just like girls doing girl stuff or non-girl stuff. I don't know, but yeah, girls totally do this. We do this all the time. We can do it right now. I went to high school in San Jose. That place is fucked up, dude. But that was kind of like, that's how, it's not just how men treat women. That's not the only thing I have a problem with. Like the way women treat women is also really problematic,
Yeah.
The whole idea of oh, catty women slut shaming each other or whatever, and it's like, why can't we just get along and shit? But women treat each other like shit too, so it's like I'm gonna.
We use each other
You
as
guys
chairs all the time.
Yeah.
give each other eating disorders. Why do you do that?
Why do we do that? I don't know. All people are evil. I mean, guys do that too. They do it to women. Be like,
Well, usually just get into a fist fight and then it's over.
oh, well, yeah, to other guys, but guys also, to women, they,
It's over.
yeah, well, they, well, yeah, body image shit is complicated, so,
Yeah, society sucks. You obviously hate yuppies.
Yeah, this was like a, this is a commission. This is, someone wanted me to do like a tennis zombie painting, and that's just like a detail, but I was like, okay, tennis zombies, and I'm like really into violence because I'm very influenced by Japanese horror comics, especially Maruo, Ito, that kind of shit, and yeah, I think things like Wimbledon and the LPGA tours and stuff, it's like, who gives a fuck? Just kill everybody.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Sports are stupid. There's a full picture. See? Yes. Nice, right? There we go. All right. Got a lot of Hellen stuff on here. Oh, Mr. Brunetti.
Want to talk about that? Let's talk about
looks
that.
like I'm running out of toilet
Answer
paper.
for the jury.
What's the question?
Well, the picture right here, you draw in this panel, you work in many styles, but this is such a simplistic style. I mean, it does look like it's geared
Deceptively. You have to put the word deceptively
Deceptively?
in front of that always.
Deceptively simple. I mean, it looks like a 1950s gag.
I was being ironic. This is being taped. That won't come across
that's
in the tape.
I don't think too many people are going to listen. I don't know. Who knows? No, I mean, something like this.
I've never jerked
you.
off to one of my own drawings. Is that your next
That,
question?
well, that's what. Yeah, that.
I've actually,
I'm
that's one
glad-
of my taboos. Like, I don't ever want to draw something that I would find erotic. I don't think I've never done it. So I always, but I would be disgusted by certain things, like feces, I guess, disgusts me. Like, I had a hard time for a long time. I had to dare myself, like, to draw somebody shitting. And so then, like, when I broke that taboo, I had to draw somebody shitting on someone else because I had to make it as horrible as possible. But
Escalation, right? Escalation.
yeah, well, if you're gonna break the I guess it's a Catholic thing. If you're gonna be bad, like, then if you're just a little bad, you may as well be completely bad or whatever. So you're going to hell anyway. So go for the gusto. Yeah, but like a lot of the things I drew that I regret now. Of course, then when you project them, it's even more horrifying. But I guess I wasn't really trying to shock anyone. I guess I don't know. I was trying to dare myself to draw like things that I thought were horrifying. But I mean now this maybe is a question for the panel. Like I don't think I took enough responsibility for like what I put into the world because I was a pretty angry person and I would draw things that were supposed to be kind of disgusting or disturbing or I don't know. Like if they have any power, it's because we still think certain things are disgusting, like people shitting on each other or like just people being violent toward each other. I never could understand like violence, I guess. Like when I was a kid, I would just let people beat me up because I didn't want to fight. So then I do all these comics now where it's sort of like you're supposed to empathize with the victim it's kind of like gallows humor. It's like something horrible is happening to somebody, but the person it's happening to is sort of just being, blithe about it or just doesn't seem to care. And I guess that was like my way of dealing with certain things.
Yeah.
So I don't know, whatever. I mean, if the power of the vulgarity is that it's supposed to be horrible. So like if it's not horrible and people can't agree it's horrible, then it loses some power. But what bothered me was when I started drawing things like that, like then getting letters. This is back before email, I guess. Getting letters from people that found it, they got different things out of it. Like they'd find certain things arousing that I thought that's supposed to be horrifying, not arousing. And then you have to wonder, like, gee, maybe I don't know if I should have put that out there. Maybe I am a bad person. I am going to hell.
Well, you did it. You say you did it solely for yourself, right? I mean, you did put it out there, so people did see it, but I don't think you're getting full responsibility because a sociopath would see it and misinterpret the image.
Yeah, but I mean, I like to think that, but you have to take some responsibility as an artist for what you're putting out there.
Yeah.
You try as hard as possible to make your point clearly if you have a point or whatever. But you can't control how other people will react to it, but you have to acknowledge when there's enough people reacting in a way that you didn't necessarily want them to, that maybe you didn't communicate clearly.
Yeah.
So, and I guess a lot of what I try to do is communicate clearly. That's not every artist's aim, but for me it is. So like I feel like I have to go back and try to clarify how I'm communicating things.
Yeah.
I'm really bringing the panel down. There was like all this hollering and whooping it up, and then I start talking, and everybody's like dead
No,
silence.
you're not, man. Yeah, you're the anchor.
I'm old. I'm not young like you guys. Like I'm out of energy. I'm spent.
Yeah, but
I'm just a wasted husk of a human being.
You're wise, Ivan. Professor Ivan. Sorry. Onsmith. Shit, bro. So, again, what I was saying before with, and what Ivan referenced before, because it's beautifully drawn, I think you can get away with it. If I drew that, I'd be blocked away. So I think again, that's like drawn like a 1950s New Yorker gag or something like that. What was the intent there?
The intent on drawing it like this?
Yeah, just the inspiration.
Well, I like a lot of the New Yorker gags and stuff. Like a lot of gag artists, Peter Arno, Virgil Parch. I draw like this occasionally. I draw different ways. I think it's just to keep it simple and clear. I guess I'm trying to keep it clear. I think we all know what's going on here. And
you got a lot going on. You got necrophilia. You got father-son relations.
Yeah, I wanted to. I mean, it seems like it would be like this is just purely anger towards women, but I mean.
What about anger towards like frat guys?
That's what I'm trying to say is that I wanted to hit at a few things at the same time. Just the stupidity of of frat parties.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, these guys are bros, and they're morons.
But I don't know if, like Ivan was mentioning, like defending, does it need to exist? I don't know if this needs to exist at all, but I know that the mentalities exist, that kind of thinking exists, and I wanted to like poke fun a little bit at privilege, that privilege at times really is just 2 steps away from cruelty.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to play around a little bit, and it's ridiculous. I know.
Yeah. No, these fuckers definitely look entitled.
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite part of this is that you wrote the word party up there. Because it's like, well, you've got the frat, the Greek letters, so but I like that it specifies that this is a party. You also have, there's like the lines of Coke and all the other stuff.
Guy has a shirt that says Thug on, so you know exactly what he is. A Tupac fan. Thug life. That's a dog shitting. That was not supposed to be there yet. Hey, there's John Mayer. That was supposed to be for the game if we were going to get to it. It's inspiration. All right. It's another one of Brunetti's early ones, ha or he or ho. I think that's funny, man. Brunetti, I'm sorry. I really think that's funny.
My own horrible work just slightly.
Go for it.
A lot of people will buy the book that this is collected in and complain that a lot of the strips aren't funny or that some of them go too far. But everybody picks different ones that go too far, which is kind of interesting. Like some things that are horrible are fine for some people, but then not others. Everyone has like a different one that they think goes too far and shouldn't have been included. And I forgot what I was going to say. But the thing with these jokes is they're not really meant to be that funny. Like when you read them, the way I structured them was that so you'd kind of remember them more. Like they'd stick in your brain and you'd laugh at them later against your will. Like they're not really meant to be funny. Like, oh, that's...
I think you're telling a story. I mean, there's a whole backstory here.
Well, I was trying to do it so that they would sort of insidiously get into the back of your head, and then like you'd remember the gag line or the caption, and you'd laugh about it later more because you have to sort of process them. They're not like jokes like har har, you know, like that. They're meant to be kind of horrible, and you might have a gut. My favorite thing is when people just sort of laugh a little bit and then immediately stifle it and they say that's not funny, because like then you bypass their logical, you know, brain center, and then they had a reaction to it that they couldn't themselves quite acknowledge. But a lot of them are meant to kind of stick with you, and then I don't know, like twist their way, kind of entwine themselves in your brain and come back to you at different times. And I mean, they're all meant to. I mean, it's funny because, I mean, to me, like what's funny about it is that the dad there is like irked. He's just slightly irked at the
great
parrot.
expression on his
Because
face.
it's not that like he committed a horrible act.
I like that he has a
you know.
mustache too.
Right. Well, you have to put that in to specify dad, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
works.
yeah, the whole thing is that, yeah, I mean, you have to, I mean, the trick with this kind of drawing is you have to remove as much as possible from it because, like, you don't really want to specify the emotional reactions too clearly, I guess. So you leave it kind of almost blank. But yeah, the one thing, to me, like, I drew that because it was funny that the dad would just be mildly irked at the goddamn parrot for doing that.
Yeah.
Like, not that, you know, whatever, he did something horrible. So it's weird, like that's the joke, what the nature of the jokes are isn't like immediately apparent in a lot of those, and you kind of have to sit with them for a while.
Let it seep in, nice and slowly, until it wraps around your brain.
That's how I thought of it anyway, and I also tried to make sure there was sort of a philosophical worldview in all of them, like that.
What is the philosophical worldview?
That the world is horrible.
It is.
That,
it is. Well, do we
that,
all agree the world's
I
horrible?
just,
Clap if the world's horrible. It's horrible.
Well, you know, like at the time, I thought there were I drew things that I thought were like really terrible, but then everything I've drawn has already been done by actual people, like many times. There's names for it. Like people have done that, you know. So I mean, whatever. There was nothing I could come up with where there hadn't been something way worse that had actually been committed by human beings, and it just boggles my mind.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Somehow I belong to the same species as these monsters. So
I think the moral is don't get a parrot. Yeah, you know, I got another picture here, Ivan, with one of your schizos. You were so obsessed with suicide in those early things. How are you doing?
big mistake. I kept myself alive. Now I'm here. But well, as you get older, then you can't do it anymore because, like, well, I made it this far. I may as well just see what happens at the end of this thing. It's like a bad movie. Like, you know, you get committed to a bad movie at a certain point. You're like, I got to see what happens to Robert Downey Jr. at the end of this. You don't even want to, but it's like, I mean, I'm already an hour and a half into it. There's only 35 minutes left. I mean, whatever. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. I remember one of your comics. You said there's if you don't like your life, there's 3 routes you can go. You can either change your perspective, you can lose yourself in drugs and alcohol, or you can kill yourself.
Let's change the situation.
Yeah.
Changing your perspective, that would fall under taking drugs or alcohol.
There you go.
Or vice versa. There. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, hey, is that true?
Do I agree with myself? Yes.
Yeah. Do you agree? You still agree to this day? All right. There you go. This is another schizo. Oh yeah, queefy. I'm sorry, Ivan. I swear we got other pictures from everyone else. We're gonna
validate my own points, don't I, with my own work?
This is great.
I don't know where this came from. It came from looking at Drabble. You know that there was a strip Drabble that looked like that, and I don't know. Actually, another thing that disgusts me is like drawings of vaginas and penises, like just genitalia in general. It's kind of repulsive. Like, I mean, it's just like it's like alien life forms. If
Yeah.
you think about the human genitals, I mean, whatever.
Well, when a
so I
woman gives
forced myself
birth,
to
it's
do
like
it.
like the scene from Alien.
I don't ever want to see that. So
Yeah.
I just thought like could I actually draw a vagina, and then I thought, if I've
Do it
got
on
to
a
do
guy's
it, why don't I
face.
make it even worse and just draw it as somebody's face? And then, of course, the next thought is, well, then people will probably want to fuck that face. And then I thought, like, who would want to fuck that face? Probably, like, somebody in power over someone else. And there's a lot of these gags are about power situations. Yeah, like now I'm looking at it and thinking about it more. But they're all about, like, power relationships.
I noticed another theme that I just learned is that you dare yourself, you push yourself, and you dare yourself. Like, I'm going to dare myself to go even further and the escalation. Like, that's something that I learned today about you.
Yeah, but I also want to keep it where you could still look at it. Like,
Well,
I wouldn't want to draw it in such a way that it would make somebody turn away. I think the challenge I put to myself, maybe it was, and that extends to the audience, is like I actually want to invite you in and look at it where you wouldn't just recoil. Like you know, there's something like it looks like Drabble, so like let's read.
Yeah, I've noticed you've done a lot of like parodies of other strips like Calvin and Hobbes, Drabble, and Peanuts, obviously.
Trying to make it so that your eyes are gonna
Yeah,
read
well,
it
they
even though you
recognize
don't
those
want to.
characters and they're going to be sucked into it.
So anyway, are we back? Are we still on this? There's got to be other I've done other things.
Okay. I don't know if you want to keep talking about this. I can go somewhere else.
Yeah, why don't we move on?
Let's move on.
Before I
Yeah, because that's
get
a whole
sick.
different thing. So.
Oh, there we go. There's some Lisa stuff.
Here we go. Lisa Hanawalt, get your face out of that book. What, you want to talk about this one, Lisa?
That's just a true story.
You know, years later, yeah, okay.
It's
They
just
touched
math.
other things,
It's a
you know.
mathematical property.
All right, so you're a math fan. I don't know. I thought that was really funny. I mean, yeah, it all touched water lilies.
Lisa, are you afraid to draw genitalia like Ivan? Or
Am I afraid?
Are you afraid to draw it?
No.
Okay. You clap for that. There we go.
It's
That's
the only thing
dog.
I'm not afraid of.
Want to talk about this one?
I'm interested in like medical imagery and how disgusting it is, and I just thought it'd be funny to have this like, because dogs are happy no matter what, they just live in the moment.
Yeah, you
so
got a
I feel
lobotomy,
like
he's still happy, right?
even if a dog's like brain was exposed, it would just be like, you know. So
Hey, bacon bits.
whereas I'd be like, oh no.
Yeah, we noticed in a lot of your work, it's almost like those surgery books, you know, with the anatomy and all that.
Yeah, I
Are
collect
you?
those.
I gotta ask you, are you a big fan of Cronenberg? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I figured. Anybody else a big fan of Cronenberg? Give it up for Cronenberg! Wake up!
So you have a lot of those books, really?
Yeah, I hit the jackpot. I went to a thrift store and a dermatology office had just shut down, so I got
Score.
all of these books about like skin diseases, and I collect like homicide detective books, so you can tell
Really?
like how someone died. And I have this one that shows a man who died by stuffing firecrackers up his ass.
Really?
Yeah, that's the best one.
Wait a minute.
I show that one to everyone
Did
who
he
comes
light
over.
them, or did he die from? How did he?
They went off, and then he got anal gangrene.
Really? They show the.
heard of anal gangrene. That's the first
Yeah.
I think I want to borrow some of your books.
First album is still good.
Yeah.
Oh, you got good taste in books, Lisa. Let's see what else. Oh, I like this. Finding her D-spot. Lisa, what is that? What is that? Is a. And how do you please a vagina?
It's a dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur. So, when did you do this, Lisa?
This was an old idea I had, and I was looking for ideas for The Believer, because I do comics for them every month, and I always wait to the last minute. I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I like went through some old notebooks, and I'd always wanted to draw this, and then I did. I don't know
for it, huh?
where the idea came from.
Yeah, I mean, you probably just saw Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I watch Jurassic Park every day.
I know that's one that went through my mind when I saw that movie. I don't know. I think it's.
Finger banging in Jurassic Park.
I don't know. I love this.
I don't know, because there's a lot of like diagrams on like how to find the G spot.
Yeah.
I feel like that's in like every sex book, and there's always like a come hither motion, and it's hilarious.
Isn't it funny like those sex books that tell you how to have sex are like the least sexiest book? It's like reading Cosmo.
Yeah,
I don't, like,
it's disgusting because it shows all the like insides and like
Yeah.
the vaginal canal, and just like
No one wants that. Doesn't turn you on. That's not good. All right, what we got next? Rejected pet portraits.
My favorite recent Cosmo headline. Like, I'm just buying like, just buying like fruit or what cereal at the store, and it's like, this is I'm just thinking about like somebody's grandmother buying something at Jewel or whatever, and it's like, hello vagina, is everything okay down there, or something along those lines. It's like, are you up there, God? It's me, vagina, or something. And I thought, I can't believe like you're going to just buy like a Snickers bar, and there's like headlines on magazines about like people talking to their vagina. It's just kind of strange.
Yeah, and yet you guys are considered vulgar, you know? I mean, come on, that's more vulgar.
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention it.
I remember reading, not that I read Cosmo, but just a diversion, I digress here, but one of the things in Cosmo one time said, if you're camping with your boyfriend, you should find a smooth stone.
Stick it up his
But
butt,
no,
right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're supposed to hide the stone first, though, because you're still camping. And then when you guys go back to your tent or wherever, your cabin, when you're making love, you stick it up his ass because he'll like that.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that has never had sex with anybody.
This one I drew because I was doing a lot of pet portraits at the time for money, and a smooth one.
They said like the smoothest pebble you can find. That's what they said. They were really, they specified smooth, like that was important. Yeah, make a note of that. Lisa, I'm sorry. Why is Mr. Whiskers flicking us off?
I don't know.
And I guess it's a hermaphrodite? Yes? Hermaphrodite? I see both sexes there. Is that just big boob, like man boobs?
Yeah.
Is it a chick with a dick? Okay, I just wanted to clarify whether that was a chick with a dick or an overweight individual with man boobs.
Hermaphrodite's different.
Yeah, hermaphrodites have both.
Oh, okay,
vaginas
I'm an
and
idiot.
dicks.
All right, next panel. What we got? Oh, yes, Masters of Painting, Volume 1. Skeet, skeet, skeet. Jackson Pollock.
That was just my favorite song for a while. By the Yang Yang Twins.
I have no idea. So, Lisa, you want to talk about this at all?
There's something really like when you're painting, it kind of feels like you're painting, with fluids, and so you think about like bodily fluids and think about skeet. So.
Jackson Pollock looks so angry in this picture. I love it.
There's also a theme here, like all artists are perverts. Like, do you agree with that? Like, there's like most artists are perverts, to some degree.
Yeah.
Only the good ones are perverts. You agree with that? That the best artists are perverts or weirdos or?
Well, you gotta have something like fundamentally wrong with you to create what you guys create. No, I mean, you don't think so?
Thanks.
Well, no, I mean, we
Disagree with that.
I don't know. I mean, I know I was picked on in high school, so that's why I ran into my room and drew pictures.
That doesn't make somebody a pervert.
Well, when you're in the shower at high school and they're, hitting you with towels, and you kind of get off on
like
it.
Showering in front of other people.
I'm sorry?
They turn people into perverts. Like they make you shower in front. I never ever showered in high school. It's like why would I want? Actually, maybe I did have to, and it was traumatic one time.
Yeah.
But that's already weird. Like why do they make people do that? I don't want to be naked in front of anyone.
Yeah.
Like strangers. Like putting soap up my ass or whatever, pebbles. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even like girlfriends seeing me with my shirt off. This is your Mario, Lisa. Like this, carries a briefcase full of pizza fixes everywhere he goes. He looks so satisfied in it. He's so ready to show everybody. I got sardines. I got some marinara there.
I was on an airplane with him once, and he was carrying a briefcase, and I just figured it was.
That's what was in there. Oh, can I? Wait, I just want to go. I want to go back because we skipped this. Here we go. This too.
And yeah, he was also
his
wearing
Crocs.
he was
Double
wearing
his
his orange
pasta
Crocs
makers.
on the airplane.
Lisa, besides seeing him on an airplane, where the hell does
That's
that
not
come?
vulgar, though.
No, it's just funny. I just thought it was funny. I'm sorry. I was going through the pictures. I thought that's hilarious. Thank you, Lisa, for doing that.
You're welcome.
The pimple under ideal conditions. In the last panel, she's still. Are those scars from picking the pimples?
I tried to give the original to Tony Millionaire. He's like, no.
Lisa,
Oh, sorry.
what do you have to say about this? Anything? No?
Oh, it goes back to those books you got about the skin stuff,
Yeah,
Your
it's
obsession
just-
with skin stuff. It's
Yeah, it's just a.
repetitious. Let's move
I
on.
get zits and think about them.
Yeah. Everybody likes popping zits, right? Who likes popping zits? Wake up, will you? Jesus.
There you go.
Want to talk about this one?
This one's just like.
Oh, and I also noticed another theme with your work is the animal with the human body with the animal heads.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a big fan of Egyptian pyramid stuff, BC stuff?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a long shot.
No,
right, well, that's-
I was,
I mean-
I was obsessed with those hieroglyphics when I
Yeah.
was a kid because they have
So that
like, the
that
people
influenced
body and
you.
the bird head and
Right.
yeah, I love using animals to represent people and
Cool. All right.
just more fun to draw sometimes.
It definitely makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Blood vomit, feelings, diarrhea, plus. Oh, yeah. Yeah. God, man. That dog looks pained. I feel bad for him. He's got maggots in his ears, too. Onsmith. I wanted to talk about this. You did a mock New Yorker. Yep. Yeah, and it's kind of blacked, but...
We're just impressed that you got the New Yorker.
No, it's not. It's a mock.
Oh, it's a mock?
I did this for the New Yorker. No, this actually came from a class I took with Ivan Brunetti. He had us make fake New Yorker covers, probably because he was making real ones. Was it really? You're
Doing that assignment made me think about more about how you actually go about doing it. Yeah, I think I did that. I don't know why I did that assignment, but like after doing it a few times, I realized like I learned a lot when I was critiquing other people about what would make a better New Yorker cover. So then I did do one after that, or maybe I did do one at that point. I don't remember, but whatever. Still, it's a good exercise. Try it if you want to make something real. Like pretend it's real for a while and do it, and then like just be really harsh with yourself and as you judge it, and then you'll actually make it happen.
So they're trick-or-treating and they're terrorists.
Yep. Thanks.
I mean, was there anything you want to elaborate more on that?
No, not really. Yeah, that's all it is.
That's all it is?
Yep.
That's all she wrote until we get to this one. Oh, sure, the one time you might actually be
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, sad. I don't know. I think at the time I went through a breakup and I was just...
Put your head in the oven.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of death. I don't know. It's just the same old shit that I've done forever. I don't know. Yep. Nothing to say about it, really. No.
I don't know, I think it's funny, she's really pissed off, man. She's got 3 bags of groceries, I mean, she looked like she
She wanted to cook, and now she's got to call the cops and
I know.
friends, whatever. Might get murdered.
She talks to herself a lot, too.
So where did the idea for this come? Some assembly required. This is awesome.
I worked in a plastics factory for close to a year, and I just thought a lot about death, and just that all the people inside were running these machines that were pretty much degrading their bodies and their minds, and I keep coming back to that. I grew up in a General Motors family, so seen what it done to my dad, and so that's just, it's a death factory, whatever. It's just playing around with those things. That's about it, really.
Yeah. Human beings shouldn't be made to do the same thing for 8 hours over and over again. It's detrimental to your health. Oh, then this same thing pretty much.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's the same idea. This is workman's comp. That's what it's called, and it's this guy's controlling a pulley. He's reaching for a sundae. That's kind of actually how the factory looked. Expressionist and cubist, yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, it's the same ideas I've been using for a while. I'm just kind of trying to exorcise my soul. It's a lithograph.
Oh, okay. What is that?
That's the Onsmith receptacle tip. That's something that Paul Nudd drew for me. He's sitting right over there. I don't know.
Doesn't look like it really does anything to protect against STDs. But,
It's a hood. It's just a hood.
That's it. We're out of pictures.
Well, we take.
Yeah, you guys got some questions?
Anybody have questions? You back there, right there. The lady, I can't see. Glasses? Okay, I'm supposed to repeat that. What was the question? Interpretation and contemporary art for your own pleasure. Versus publishing something and put it out there. Private stuff versus stuff that's not private.
I think you can't control people's reactions to your work. People, that's their responsibility. They have to take it or leave it, and if it's too violent for them, But I mean, if someone's crazy, like anything could trigger a violent episode in them. Yeah.
Does that explain it?
A sane person is not going to look at this and lose their mind.
Right, like watching a violent movie and I'm going to go out and be violent.
A crazy person could look at a perfectly pleasant image of a dog and lose their mind. So it's not my responsibility to change the way I work, just to make sure that everyone else in the world is okay should they happen upon it. Yeah, people project what they want onto artwork.
I agree.
Yeah.
You all agree about that?
And I work to please myself first, and then it's lucky that others like it, but
yes, always please yourself first, and then others.
Unless you're in bed.
True. Brunetti, do you want to add something to that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we'd all agree with that. I think the question where it gets more subtle is, what if somebody saw that image and then wrote it was like an animal rights person or something and thought you were diminishing their cause? That's a really extreme example, where it's like, this is totally not what I'm trying to do. And then, because I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of stupid people out there, and you try
yes,
to
there
put,
is.
that. It's true. Only a disturbed person, Barney the dinosaur might set them off. But what about people that aren't crazy? They're just regular people, but there's something missing where they can't make that leap of the artist isn't completely depraved or something. That's where it gets more into this question of where you have to ask yourself, what are you trying to communicate to people?
Right.
Maybe. I guess that's what I was trying to kind of say earlier. I don't have any answer. But
and obviously, PETA people, the people from PETA would look at that and be like, oh, you're horrible person.
They might. I don't know. Maybe not. But
Come on, they throw blood on people, you know? They're vulgar.
Yeah, I have a friend, a very close friend who's a farmer, and he's constantly arguing with me about this and saying, like, well, why would you want to show an animal in pain? I don't understand that. How could you do that? And I don't really have a good answer for him. But I would never, I'd never do that myself.
Obviously.
No one's nicer to animals than me, but I mean, it's just interesting to me, so I'm going to draw it.
Okay.
You've gotten personal backlash from it besides your farmer friend? Like you've gotten letters or something? People saying...
A couple, but
Really?
but actually not as many as you'd think.
No?
Like 2 or 3.
I was going to say that it's also just pointing to it is just a drawing. It's just some color and ink on paper, right? But it shows that there's a lot of power in drawing still.
that's like saying the swastika is just graphic design.
Got me there.
Just throwing it out there, food for thought. Discuss amongst yourselves.
I mean, the guy was a prick, but I mean, that's like what he was trying to do, right? You create... Well, yeah, I mean, wasn't Hitler like into graphic design or something? I mean... That's what he was, an art school dropout. I mean, the guy he's like, we're going to get the nicest coats ever so people want to join the SS.
I mean, like, yeah, Hitler was an artist and he just did like pastoral landscapes, but he's still like a genocidal murderer. And
Yeah.
like, we draw like really vulgar, crude, bloody, vomity shit, and like we're all just nerds. And I don't know. It's kind of like I know that's like a very black and white comparison, but us and Hitler, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I think that's pertinent. I think that does make sense. You're absolutely right. I mean, you shouldn't be judged by the images you put out. It's what you're do in your personal day to day.
Well, I don't know. As an artist, you are judged by your work. I mean, I don't really want people to judge my work based on me because I'm like really boring. Like I don't want people to look at me and be like, "That's Helen Jo's artwork." It's like, no, my artwork is teenagers fighting and cussing and like I think the violent stuff you put it out there and like people will project what they want on it, whether it's like insanity or like their own agenda. And I can't control that, but I know what I'm trying to say, and I can defend myself, or I can talk about it, open a dialogue, or whatever. I don't necessarily. I mean, I am worried, like because a lot of my fans are teenagers, like kids, and they look at it like that's so cool. You ripped your jaw open, and I'm like, I didn't rip anybody's jaw open. It's a drawing, and like I don't. I don't want to promote violence. That's horrible. I think it's more I'm trying to empower myself through drawing like really vulgar things or very subversive things. And like I know that like after it's been retumbled like 5,000 times, it doesn't have that, like people don't even know that I drew it. So like they'll interpret the way they want to do it. And yeah, I don't know if I have an answer for that, but it's just.
I'm sorry, I wanted to put some of your work.
While you're doing that, let's take another question. The man with the glasses in the back. Hello. Right. What's the motive to putting it out there to the audience? Why do that? That's the question?
Mommy didn't love me enough.
Like I draw it, I'm like the thing I'm mostly concerned with is I'm a very very shallow artist. Is like I like the way it looks. I think it's pretty. I want people to see it and praise me. Part of it, praise me. No, I mean, I drew it. Because
we all want to be loved,
Yeah, we all want to be loved. I think part of it's also, I think all artists, whether they're very private or they publish openly, is like they want a reaction. They want to know. They want. You kind of want to bounce it off other people. You don't want it to be like this one-sided dialogue and it's just you by yourself in your room. You want to know how other people react to it. And like, of course, you can't control that, so you want to see what they're going to say.
You can only look in the mirror so much, and it's so cold.
For me, why get it out there? I think I like control. And when I've had conversations about things that went someone else's way, which they're probably right anyway, but I wanted it my way, damn it. And I drew it this way and I had it my way. That's why. I mean, it sounds aggressive, but it's in my head. and I want all parts of me kind of shown in different ways. I mean, I've drawn lots of different things, made lots of different types of comics, and that's just one side of me, and I think it's just as valid as the other stuff. And again, it's just really about control. I wanted to say something to other people in the way I wanted it. So.
Well, I don't know if it's this way for you guys, but for me, I started drawing that kind of stuff for myself, and then I slowly started showing my friends, and they'd respond positively and be like, "Oh, that's awesome!" So I started, printing little zines and giving it out to their friends, and like it got bigger and bigger. And if nobody else responded to it that way, I would just keep drawing, but I'd keep it to myself and become like an accountant or something. But it turned into my job to put out that kind of work. That's what I do. So. Keep doing it.
I could just add one thing, I guess. Making art, it's just like a crazy test. It's sort of, if I'm doing this, and then when it's the only way to know when you put it out there. It's like from people's reaction. If people are sort of getting it, then you're not crazy. If they don't, then you are schizophrenic. That's really the only difference between crazy people and artists. It's sort of like artists are crazy people that somehow connect with other people. And that might just be purely luck and circumstance. Like maybe you could be born in the wrong time and place. Then you're just labeled a crazy person because you haven't connected with anyone else. But there's a lot of stuff you can point to where people were misunderstood in their lifetime. And then, 100 years later, oh, now we finally get it. But that person would have just been considered crazy in their time. I don't know, so it's just a thing, you put it out there and you're sort of taking that plunge or dipping your toe in the water to see if you're actually crazy or not. Maybe for this kind of work, if you're drawing things that are more,
do you have any heroes that were born in the wrong time?
Well, Vermeer was born in the wrong time. There was a Vermeer shout out, would you call it? Is that what the young people are calling it now?
Who is a fan of Vermeer?
Yeah.
Whatever, you're lying.
I think that took like 250 years. Van Gogh was the first artist to write about it, and he was also another one who wasn't appreciated in his life. So there's a lot of people. I don't want to drag everything down. There's other questions, but I think that's the compulsion to put it out there. It's sort of like you want to know, are you crazy?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Question?
Have your work that's more vulgar, that's the stuff that you enjoy making. How much, when you have to make like a compromise job, like you work for Cartoon Network, how much have potential employers addressed your works that are more, out there like that, to where they've been like, you work for a company that's more conservative, and they've been like, oh, well, you have a picture of a dog fucking a baby, what is that? Can we trust you to work here?
Yeah, have you guys ever been censored?
That's my pitch to Nickelodeon.
Like Brunetti, when you did the... sorry, go ahead. Brunetti, when you did the New Yorker, obviously that got censored, right?
What got censored?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like...
I wouldn't submit some... I'm not gonna send the New Yorker my dog fucking...
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like...
Because I know, like, they're probably not gonna run that. I've sent them a drawing of, like, a typical family, and they were all in bondage gear. It was like the Saul Steinberg covers that he would do, like, people as cats. And I just threw that one out there. And actually, they didn't completely reject it. They said, let's wait on that one. But, you never know. Like, things, whatever. Our society might completely crumble. Bloodsport might be on TV in a couple of years. We'll all be eating each other. And something like that wouldn't even matter to people, like, big deal. Oh, people are fucking on the New Yorker cover and chopping each other's heads off. It's happening right outside. I don't need the New Yorker. That might happen. But right now, I know that would be a bad idea. So usually I just try not to, I wouldn't send that as a sample packet. Like if I do something or I've done things for Nickelodeon, like, I'm not going to, my portfolio is not going to include work like that. I'll send them work that is appropriate to what they do. I wouldn't lie about it if they asked, actually I had a potential of doing this lucrative illustration job, and I don't have a website. And so the ad agency kind of freaked out. And they're like, send us some images, because they were worried the client would Google my name. And they did. And they told me that they did. And that, they said, you really got to get a website. Because, but that's the thing, that's the risk you take. But Anyway, I'm just talking too much.
I've worried that it would prevent me from getting real jobs before, but I think it's actually become a thing that sets me apart from other illustrators. And that now that our directors know that I'm professional and can deliver something without dicks all over it. But also, my first big illustration job was for the Sexy Book of Sexy Sex, and I had to draw a pornographic Where's Waldo with like an
That's a
orgy
good gig.
and stuff. Yeah, and so and now I kind of get a lot of jobs like that where I can draw the sexy, gross stuff, and yeah.
All right.
Well, like, yeah, you mentioned I do work for Cartoon Network. I work for regular shows, a storyboard revisionist, and I did a few storyboards as well. And on that show, there's none of my style in that show. It's like that is J.G. Quintel's vision, and I'm just there to realize it. So it's like I'm not even, why would I bother trying to put in like, oh, I'm gonna throw in like a beheaded woman on this Y7 show for boys 11 to 12 or what? It's like there's no point. I don't want to argue with like some executive about something that makes no sense. And then for like illustration jobs, like Lisa said, the violent stuff or like the gross stuff is kind of what sets me apart. But at the same time, it's actually not a really huge part of my oeuvre or whatever. It's like most of my stuff it concerns teenagers and coming of age. And the vulgar stuff is like stuff I really enjoy doing, but it's also, it's only maybe like 20% of what I do. I do a lot of other shit, and I don't think it's really prevented me from getting jobs. I've, like probably the most vulgar thing I've done, or like outwardly racy thing. I did like someone wrote an article on like a girl's guide to getting off for Vice, and I illustrated it, and then I was just supposed to draw girls masturbating, and like they asked me because I draw girls and I draw girls who are hot who want to do that kind of stuff. So, I think and working for Cartoon Network, like everyone knows that I draw like weird shit, and no one really cares. I mean, I'm sure if I tried to pitch a show of like vulgar, crude, whatever to like this children's network, they would not accept it, and I would not be surprised. If I was going to do something like that in television, I would go to an adult network, like Adult Swim or
Yeah,
Fox
there you go.
Prime or something. So
There's adult and there's
there are
kid.
outlets for that professionally. You want to do it, you can.
I'm an administrator in a bank. I am. That's my full-time job, and I don't really do much illustration stuff anymore. And when I do, it's just a luck of the draw, and either I'm going to do it or not. If they're coming to me, if it came to that, then oh well. I mean, I wouldn't really care because I'm not suffering for the illustration job for some Bible college or something. So it's okay with me. I mean, it would still kind of bother me though. I think I have to be honest. I think it'd be kind of like, well, no, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad of a guy. Just get to know me. So I don't know. But I think it's. I've thought that about Ivan though a lot actually, just because. Yeah. He's a leader of society. But yeah, you just have to do what you can do when it comes to you as far as commercial jobs, I think.
All right. Sure. Want to add something?
Yeah, because you have different sides of your personality. Let's say if my regular job was working as a piss whore, just follow me on this one. Let's say that's my job. That's my passion.
It exists.
I think we can all imagine what a piss whore might do. So let's just say that's how you make your living, that's your passion. But, no, you don't make your life, sorry, that's your avocation. That's your passion, but you don't make a living doing that, but you have a job at Starbucks. And that's how you pay the bills. Like, well, you're not going to be at Starbucks asking people to piss on you. You know what I mean? Like, you make that distinction, like, that's my other life, and when I go to my Starbucks job, which I need to get my health insurance or whatever, I don't bring the piss whore stuff into it. That's kind of how I look at like the different things that I draw. I can make that distinction.
Questions?
Well, you know what? That's what everyone hopes for. That's the dream. That's called living the dream.
Question.
How hard or easy, I guess, was it to reach a comfortable point to say, fuck it, time to draw weird shit?
That's a good question. Can I take this one too? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I came to that. I remember when I first started doing comics. Here's how out of it I was. I thought I was doing stuff that could be in the daily paper. You know, like I wanted to do like The Far Side, and I thought I was kind of doing that, but it was a little too weird. But I couldn't see that, like when I was in college, and so I put this stuff. I self-published some books, and they all pretty much failed miserably. And then I had to ask myself, like, well, what am I doing and why? And what, you know, was this all a waste of time? And I spent a couple of years basically kind of trying to teach myself how to draw better, but part of that was I'm just going to draw for myself. It was a pretty conscious decision of like, I don't even know if anyone's going to see this besides a few friends, and I was mailing stuff to a few people because that's how long ago it was. But it was kind of a decision of I'm just going to do things that I like. I'm not going to try to do things where I'm already kind of censoring it from the beginning because I'm imagining this, you know, an editor or somebody looking at my stuff and putting it out there in a mass format. And it was kind of liberating for me to just not worry anymore about an audience and just make myself the audience. And ironically, that's the stuff people responded to. So that would be my advice to anybody. If you come to that point, just, you have to please yourself first, and then, you know, things will fall into place from that. But if you start with second guessing who the possible audience might be, it's just never going to get anywhere.
Gotta be you. Questions? Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if any of you have seen, it sounds like maybe you have seen kind of a tipping point in how your art is perceived professionally from I'm drawing this really vulgar shit that people dismiss because it's just some chicken scratch and they think it's weird, they have no idea who I am, versus they see my books and they now know who I am, or they see my art and they see that it's showing and it's perceived a different way. And I'm wondering how you guys feel about and if you've seen that difference in perception from people saying, I think you're nobody, to I think you're not nobody anymore, and the art might be exactly the same, or the same piece in those different stages, and how you feel about that as artists. If it's totally different, if you're okay with it, it weirds you out.
I'm ready.
You're like, yeah.
I have an answer. That's an interesting question because I feel like I've been doing some slightly more accessible work lately. Like I've started doing these illustrated movie reviews where they are a little less vulgar than some of my other work. And I kind of wonder if that's going to be like a gateway drug to my grosser stuff. Like people see that and like it, and then, I mean, it has exposed me to a wider audience. So I'm still kind of figuring out. Some people, yeah, the gross stuff is just too much. I hope so. I mean, I hope people see that and then they like my other stuff too, and it doesn't like turn them off completely. But I kind of like that I have different stuff for everyone. Like I have a children's book, which is really sweet, and then I have, you know, that, and then I have the super gross stuff. So, yeah.
I remember reading a Dan Clowes interview, and he talked about how every single fan that would talk to him would be like, oh, they would each have a completely different favorite book. You know, like, my favorite book is Ghost World. And I'm like, oh, I hated Ghost World. I love Velvet Glove. Why don't you do more stuff like that? And, like, you know, all of his books are really, really different, and different people like different things. And I think with my stuff, like, some people come up to me and they actually dislike the really bloody stuff. And they're like, oh, you should do prettier stuff. Like, you know, like, whatever. And it's like, sometimes I'll be like, okay. And other times it's like, no, I don't want to do that. And, you know, people just like, different people like different things at the same time. And that's cool.
Okay, let's move on. Man in the black.
So I was wondering, because if for people who've read your work and have never met you, you know, maybe then they meet you with something like this, because you know some of your work is so provocative and different, and it kind of encroaches on all these taboo subjects. If people that you've met at either something like this or even in other parts of your life, if they've come in with maybe assumptions about you, and if those have been hard to overcome, and say, no, you know, I'm not a sicko, I'm just an awful person.
Yeah, is the artist different from his work in real life?
Yeah, I was just mentioning that earlier. Not many people that I meet in the meat world have seen my stuff that much. So if they do it like something like this at a convention, yeah, I think I don't think I've really heard anything. Like someone had a full evaluation of me, right? I thought you'd be an ogre. I thought you'd be really huge, and you'd have like I don't know, whatever, a third face.
I don't know what people would. I mean, I don't know what people would think they would get when they met me, because I thought I was putting myself out there in this kind of naked way, I guess, where I felt like that's what the stuff that was going through my head. And I mean, that doesn't mean I mean, there's a difference between feelings and behavior, as my therapist reminds me every week. I mean, you can have anger and other things, and you don't have to act on those things. I can have emotions and not act on them. I guess I think like most people would. I mean, actually, we kind of said this earlier too. Like people that tend to do like the most, whatever, disturbing kind of artwork tend to be like kind of unassuming types, and then you have probably somebody that draws something really innocuous is, I don't know, like molesting children right now or something like that. You have to wonder, like, I mean, some things are like a little too innocuous, right? So I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how to answer it. I had a lot of, I mean, when I first started, there would be a lot of people that thought I'd be like a party guy. I don't know where they got that from. Like, hey, Brunetti, you're sick, dude. You're twisted. And then we're going to go out and skateboard or something. And I like to think of myself as a fairly dignified person. It's like, I'm quite shocked that you would have that opinion of me. I'm kind of really uptight, actually, most of the time. I'm really the most boring, uptight person there is. I guess there's a lot of stuff that goes through my head, but I can make a distinction between things that go through my head and behaving a certain way. I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'm talking too much again.
Any more questions?
Misinterpret you?
Want to add something?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm uptight too.
here's your answer.
Okay. Question?
Yeah, I'm worried. Yeah, worried about that Romney presidency, let me tell you.
Yeah, that might change things, the Romney thing.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of, I worry about, I mean, my whole time I've been publishing, people have told, this has been the constant thing. You're going to get arrested someday, like you're going to go to jail someday, all this stuff. And I mean, and then I like to say, well, it hasn't happened yet, but I mean, it could happen. Mike Diana is the only artist, I think, that's been actually convicted of obscenity in America. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but there are always comic book store owners that get in trouble and end up serving time in prison or paying like these horrendous fines. So that's happened many times, and you could probably look on the CBLDF website documents. There's always a new case against. It's usually store owners, unfortunately.
Smut peddlers. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, there's just guys selling comic books, and sometimes they get framed too. It's usually like communities on a vendetta or something.
Right.
Well, there's a anthology called Black Eye that had an issue at the border of Canada, or in Canada, I guess, specifically about a gag that I drew about these two dudes pissing on a corpse, and it was specifically that. There was a lot of really bad stuff in there, but it was that gag that I guess pissed him off. I don't really. At first, it was kind of interesting. I was like, whoa, oh, there's a big to-do about something I drew. Ooh. But then I was kind of just. I wasn't really. Wasn't into it. It's unfortunate. I think it's just a miscommunication. Maybe I am projecting some wrong things here. It made me question that a little bit.
Yeah,
I shouldn't.
It shouldn't like.
Be able to draw whatever you want. That's crazy. I mean, I have kind of an authority problem. Like, I don't like it when people tell me what I can and can't do or draw. I think that's absurd. Like, you should be able to draw whatever you want.
I agree. I think it came down to, with art and comics, because comics is just really a lot of the time just a commodity. It's just a product, and you got to move this product over the border. It seemed like contraband,
The Canadian border is especially sticky because they're agents. They don't read comics, and they see a comic. I mean, if you say you're bringing manga across the border, it's an immediate red flag. And you could be bringing like Naruto or some shit, and they're like, oh no, you need a license for that. And like I think before TCAF last year, Sparkplug Books, they were trying to bring over all of the books that they publish and distribute, and one of the books that was confiscated was Blaise Larmy's comic. What is it called? It's the yellow.
This is the
Young
same border
Lions.
guards.
And
I think these are the same border guards.
Yeah, it's probably the same border guards. I got pulled over too this year when we were going to TCAF, and like Blaise Larmy's book, it's like there's nothing pornographic, nothing obscene. It's about teenagers, and like there's a scene where they have sex, and they're like, this is child pornography. We're taking all your books, and it's I don't know. Canadian border sucks.
That's despicable to me.
Yeah, it is. It's despicable, and it's like, who are you to assess that? You're a border guard. You're not like, an art critic or a comic. Vulgarity police. I don't know. And yeah, as far as people getting arrested, like I was like, I don't remember who mentioned it, but like I think a lot of comics actually don't make it into the U.S. because cartoon or comic book store owners and publishers don't want to get arrested. They don't want to be prosecuted. So like, it's really hard for me to get like. I'm like a really huge fan of Suehiro Maruo. He's a erotic, grotesque manga artist, and like many of his books will never be published in English because like people do not want to sell them here because they depict children being raped, molestation, really awful fucking things, and but I think his books are really important in like this era of global comics and Asian fucked up comics coming over here. But I can never read them. I'm almost gonna have to buy them in Montreal in like French, and it's like I don't know what the hell this says. But yeah, I think. Publishers and comic book stores owners, I don't blame them. They have to protect themselves, so they're just not going to sell that shit. So I just have to buy it on the internet.
That's when you take it to the streets. All right, any more question? Any regrets, Brunetti, about your
Everything
history?
No, I mean, I don't think I explained it well. It wasn't like my intent was to shock, but I wanted to write about these emotions that I had. I were just like how horrible I thought like so many people were to each other, and to get that point across, I guess I wanted to do it in this particular way, but it wasn't like I guess maybe it's underneath it there is like some whatever adolescent streak running through it of like rubbing people's noses in it, but I don't know, actually I regret just about everything, not just everything. You don't regret I feel guilty for breathing. I feel guilty for being here everywhere.
Do you regret this one right here?
I think it's one of those beautiful pieces of
Yeah, it's fine. That's one of the few That's one of the few comics I did where I wasn't trying to be funny at all, so I have a soft spot for it.
Okay, that's nice.
After Charles Schultz's death?
Yeah, I guess it was right after. Yeah. It's actually ripped off from this artist, Glorious Williams, who did this drawing of a house. So I kind of took that drawing and then turned it into something where you'd move through time as well as space. So shout out to Glorious Williams.
All right, unfortunately we have to wrap this up, but is there anything else you people or you panelists want to say? You people and panelists? Anything else you want to, any final comments, observations about your life, your work?
Yes, I apologize. The person that asked that. I am sorry for people that read anything that, whatever.
Okay, Brunetti
bummed them out.
apologizes.
The bad vibes I produced.
Anybody else want to apologize for something they did that was bad or naughty? Been naughty? No. Okay, well, hey, listen, all you fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Today's Father's Day. So let's give a round of applause for the daddies. All the daddies. All right, thanks for coming, and enjoy the pie. I mean cake.
Enjoy the pie. Thank you.